treatment as prevention. We also intensify primary prevention, look at ABC. And of course, decentralization is key. As a government, we've seen, I went through the countries that have been able to eliminate PMTCT, and I saw that they approach it from their perspective of size. So as in Nigeria, I think we have to decentralize from the 240 million, go to this sub-regional level, sub-state level, sub-national levels, and intensify leadership and condition at that level, and be able to address the PMTCT needs and also address the pediatric needs for the country. So as a country, we strengthen data and estimate for us to ensure that we get the right data to make the right decision. So on behalf of my leaders, the coordinating Minister of Health and the other Minister of State for Health, NASCAP and NACA, we are committed to ensuring that this prevention um, conference ends with good results and actionable points. Thank you very much as we unlock the value chain together for health in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, NASCAP. Um, Time is fast spent, and that does it with the goodwill messages. But before I proceed with the next item on the program, my constituents, the media, had been a worthy partner in Nigeria's HIV national response. And it's on that premise that I crave your indulgence to give the media a resounding round of applause for our contribution. So moving on now, it's time to take a keynote address, which is an overview of HIV in Nigeria in relation to AYPs. And to take us through that is Ms. Fumi Adesonya. She is the Nigeria country coordinator of PEPFAR. PEPFAR has been a worthy partner, and we continue to appreciate them. A resounding round of applause for PEPFAR, please. And thank you for all you've been doing for our people.
Good morning, everyone. Is it still morning? I've been looking forward to this day for several weeks now. So I'm so excited to be here and see all the young people. So before I stand on the very tall protocols, please allow me just a moment to just recognize some of our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters. Allow me to start with the representative of the Honorable Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Alausa, Dr. David Atubu. Our NACA Director General, Dr. Temitope Ilori, who also looks so beautiful. We appreciate and are so excited for your leadership, as well as my dear sister, Esther from Ashwan. My brother, Abdul Nepwan, APIN, our NASCAP NC. We have our UNA's country director, Dr. Leo Zing, our Global Fund country team here from Geneva. We have CCM representatives, SACA representatives, young people here today, especially the 150 young people that PEPFAR was able to bring. Members, again, personal stories and watching your hopes and dreams come true. It is truly one of my most favorite things to do. And again, I really just want to honor and salute you. Young people, your energy is unmatched. This morning, I'm going to ask you to indulge me a bit as I use the metaphor of a blank canvas to share some thoughts with you. Let's first start off with the definition of blank canvas, just to make sure that we're all together. A blank canvas refers to a literal or metaphorical surface that is devoid of any markings, colors, or content. It is a clean slate to be filled with artistic expression or ideas. Now, with this definition in our minds, I want to speak to you today on 3 themes, which I've categorized as follows. Today's reality, prevention is better than cure. And when Dr. Leo started, I was a little worried that you read my message, so you were going to cover my points. And then thirdly, the canvas of opportunities. So if you don't hear everything that I'm saying, when I get to the canvas of opportunities, listen, because there's going to be some announcements and opportunities for youth to apply for. So today's reality, part one. Many of you are aware of the realities faced the continent. The incidence of HIV, tuberculosis, and other infectious diseases is higher on this continent than any other. This beautiful continent, our Mama Africa, is challenged by socio-economic hardships, including poverty. These points were touched by our goodwill speakers. This continent also faces rising insecurity, Japa syndrome, and other vulnerabilities that many but live in this reality daily. Kofi Annan, former Secretary General of the United Nations, once said during his address to the Africans Leaders Summit that disease, like war, is not only a product of underdevelopment, but also one of the biggest obstacles preventing our society from developing as they should. That is especially true of HIV and AIDS, which now takes its biggest toll among young people. The age group that normally produces the most and has the main responsibility for reaching the next generation. And we heard earlier from our APEN representative, youth are the next generation. In 1950, Africans made up 8% of the world's population. A century later, Africans will account for 1/4 of humanity, and at least 1/3 of all young people aged 15 to 24, according to forecasts made by United Nations. There are currently 8 billion people in the world, and by 2050, on this planet will be an African. And the majority of those people, you know who they'll be? Nigerians. Nigeria is a country with immense natural wealth, a well renowned entrepreneurial spirit, and great potential in its youth balls. All of you here today. None of us choose where we are born or who we are born to, but all of us are born with a blank canvas and an expectation that we are and will be in control of our own destiny, with the ability to choose the colors that will fill our canvases as we grow into adulthood. The unfortunate reality is that some of your canvases have already been colored by the circumstances around you in ways that were not of your own choosing. But take heart, because you still hold the paintbrush and can still create a masterpiece so breathtaking that the result will not resemble its beginning. Nigeria has a vital resource many aging societies are losing: a vibrant, youthful population full of energy, drive, and imagination. Nigeria has you. Now, growing up in America with Nigerian parents was not easy. You think your parents here in Nigeria are not easy. Imagine having Nigerian parents living in America. I believe that I had complete freedom to paint my own personal canvas the way I desired. But my father, Dr. Adesanya, had other plans. After the word no, his favorite phrase was prevention is better than cure. He applied this phrase to everything. If I received a marking of 99% on a test, his response would be what? Go back and find the 1%. Your education is prevention. You won't need a cure for poverty if you do well in school. Remember that prevention is better than cure. There are also the obvious applications. I grew up in Pennsylvania, where the snow literally could fall and be waist deep. And although my brother and we were used to the cold weather, we could put on a light jacket, some mittens, go play in the snow all day and be perfectly fine. But Dr. Adesanya was not. Do you want to die from pneumonia? He would ask. Prevention is better than cure. We would then return outside with so many layers of clothes on that we would walk like penguins. We could we couldn't even move. Clearly, Dr. Desanya thought perishing from pneumonia was worse than heat exhaustion, which also causes fatalities. We ended up just staying inside. We gave up. If my father assessed that a friend my brother and I brought to the house didn't have good enough manners, he would ban us from playing together. My father became the president of the Parents Teacher Association, PTA. I don't know if they have them here. This gave him the ability to not only interact but select each and every one of our teachers he deemed were most distinguished to teach his children. And this is in America. He also observed the kids in our school. I felt like my father had no bounds. The company you keep has significant influence on you. The right circle of friends is your prevention. You won't need a cure from bad associations. Are you not listening to me? Prevention is better than cure. I detested my father's prevention than better than is better than cure dissertations as a young person. But the reality is that it has anchored my personal canvas and has shaped so much of who I am today. While the decisions I made were influenced and largely steered by Dr. Adesanya, it put me on a path that has afforded me the opportunity to stand right here before you. There are few places on earth void of trials and tribulations. I may not know what it feels like to walk in the shoes of someone living with HIV, but I have personally experienced hunger, poverty, exclusion, stigma, and discrimination throughout my life. Yes, even in America. I have experienced barriers to care because of the color of my skin and have witnessed firsthand the untimely death of a cherished mother and my cousin because they were unable to receive quality life saving care. I may not have walked a day in some of your shoes, but I have experienced a lot of the trials and tribulations many of you have. Prevention is better than cure is a statement that goes beyond health, or in my personal case, the mantra of a very strict father. If you're knowledgeable about HIV transmission, yes, you can protect your health and that of a loved one or a sexual partner. But prevention is really a coat of armor you can use to navigate through this complex period we are currently living in. When you are armed with knowledge, you can make informed decisions that shape your destiny, and you can choose the colors of your personal canvas. With your armor, you can advocate for your rights and demand that laws and policies which protect these rights are enforced. Your armor can provide a voice to the voiceless, lifting fellow brothers and sisters in communities, such as those impacted by HIV and AIDS. Globally, we are grappling on how to close the tap on new HIV infections, and you've heard some of that again from our speakers. This youth pre conference is quite timely because time is not on our side. We cannot eliminate HIV as a public health threat by 2030, close the tap on new HIV infections, or break mother to child transmission cycle without you, ideas, your advocacy, and your leadership. Remember, you will represent the third largest group of people in this world. In the next 2 decades, Nigeria will become the home of the third most populous nation in this world. You quite literally hold the proverbial keys to change the HIV trajectory. So, this brings me to my third theme, which I've titled The Canvas of Opportunity. So, if you didn't hear anything else I said, please listen to this. Nigeria's youth will be the next generation of policy leaders, educators, and change agents. You not only need access to services to protect your health, you need opportunities which will further expand your leadership potential and prepare you to meaningfully engage on the world stage and to lead this country. The United States recognizes that in this global interdependent world, the greatest asset of any country is its people. Given that more than half of the world's population are young people, you are the globe's greatest asset. The US has invested significantly in programs that provide young people with the tools to shape their own canvases. And one of the greatest and largest public health initiatives supported by the United States government is its Foreign HIV Assistance Program, PEPFAR, which has provided Nigeria with over $8.3 billion since 2003. Additionally, the US is the largest contributor to the Global Fund, which supports HIV as well as tuberculosis and malaria. And through the leadership of the government of Nigeria, and particularly the Ministry of Health, in partnership with UNAIDS, WHO, states, and communities, we have achieved so much together. Yet gaps remain, and we need to start thinking outside the box if we are truly going to achieve the UNAIDS fast track targets. Young people have been identified as a key priority for PEPFAR's in PEPFAR's 5-year strategic strategy because young people make up a disproportionate share of new HIV infections, especially with adolescent girls and young women representing most of those infections. In an effort to conduct business differently, catalyze innovation, be bold and creative with programming, Ambassador Kanga Song recently unveiled a $20 million global leadership initiative focused on youth. This initiative will strengthen youth in their advocacy and leadership efforts to improve HIV prevention, case finding, treatment outcomes in select PEPFAR supported countries. The countries were not announced during the unveiling, but I am excited to share that Nigeria has been selected and the PEPFAR team has been invited to submit a proposal for consideration. The Youth Leadership Initiative will center around the voices of youth and focus on innovations, co creation aimed at improving HIV prevention, case finding, and treatment outcomes. The initiative will provide direct funding to youth led organizations with a focus on communication, capacity building, such that young people's leadership skills grow and their ability to engage effectively with host country governments, the private sector, and global stakeholders will expand. PEPFAR seeks to reduce a range of access barriers which prevent youth from seeking HIV treatment and prevention services. But in true PEPFAR fashion, the deadline for ideas is short. We have to submit something Thursday. So we, the PEPFAR team, are going to pull together a budget so that the money can move here quickly. But this does not mean that ideas are final or that we know precisely what will be implemented or who we will fund. I just want to be transparent about the short time constraints and ask that during this conference, you brainstorm and share ideas, big or small, with us so that we can feed these ideas into our high level submission. You can email us, you can write on a piece of paper. We have some of our PCO team here, or share your ideas verbally with me. This youth leadership initiative is in addition to recent changes PEPFAR Nigeria has made in response to the feedback of young people. We have revamped our small grants program and are now accepting proposals for up to $25,000 on grants.gov from youth and key population-led organizations. We're particularly looking on for innovations on virtual spaces, community-led monitoring for priority populations. The deadline to apply is June 25th. So if you're a youth-led organization, please submit an application. We are also designating a small pot of resources to support young people with either an approved abstract or poster to present at this year's International AIDS Society Conference in Germany. Details of this will be disseminated. So please don't come running asking if you can go. If you have an oral poster or abstract, we really want to try to support. And as my dear friend said, give the exposure to young people so you can learn from others. For those who are familiar with the Patient Education Empowerment Plan, PEEP, that my dear Abdul Kadir mentioned, we are working with NEP1 and UNAIDS to convene a stakeholder meeting to finalize PEEP, resources, tool dissemination, and step-down trainings for people living with HIV and KP networks so that members are well-informed and empowered to promote treatment education, legal rights, redress for human rights violations, and we will also try to use the convening power of PEEP to engage young people on specific activities for the Youth Leadership Initiative. Under the Lift Up Equity Fund, which many of you were a part of with the interagency PEPFAR team, proposal was submitted to address the age of access legislation, which was approved for $800,000. And I am personally inspired by the progress made by the many of you who have co-designed the proposal and to the organization implementing this important work. The US government through PEPFAR has made concerted efforts to incorporate communities in surveys and data quality assessments, including the Country Operational Plan, COP23, Getting the Data Right strategy. We will continue to adapt the HIV program as feasible in response to your ideas in partnership with Government of Nigeria leadership and with a spirit of inclusivity. Now, if you remember, the beginning of my remarks started off with a somber reality check and a picture of a canvas which seemed already pre-designed and pre-painted. I think all of us wish the blank canvases we were born with remained untouched until we were ready to start our own proverbial paint. But the reality is that our experiences, our adversities, our relationships, our strengths, and our weaknesses makes every one of us brighter, more dynamic, and stronger. As I conclude, I'll end with my father's favorite phrase: prevention is better than cure. Prevention is both your armor and your paintbrush. It will protect your potential and empower you to paint the picture you personally desire for yourself and be the change agents that Nigeria needs. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. She deserves more than that, if you ask me. Thank you. Just to quickly announce that UNICEF is up to something that what's recognizing at this event, and that's the fact that it is streaming this conference live in 7 states. That is in addition to sponsoring 70 youth participants to this event. A round of applause for UNICEF, please. There's a special person in our midst I would also like to recognize. She's an AIDS veteran journalist, a distinguished HIV and AIDS anti-stigma advocate. She's a mother, a teacher, she's a counselor. She's there for us, and she's still there. Although a very private personality, her numerous works to improve the well-being of those living with HIV, as well as her own prevention activities, is one that is worth mentioning. I'm talking about no other person but someone whom I regard as a mentor, someone I had learned so much in the media space. I'm talking about no other but Mrs. Moji Makanjola, MFR. Please give her a round of applause. I remember when I and Timoji would break down and cry over people's condition, and we had gone out of our ways to do the little we could, and we'll continue to do that. It's all about inclusivity. It's all about humanity. And together we shall get there. Let's give each and everyone, let's just give ourselves a round of applause. We've done so well. Thank you so much.
Think about.
So before we get to the next item, let me quickly call on our fantastic saxophonist to come to the stage and once again do what he's best at doing. Is he here? Is the saxophonist here? If he's not here, we'll just quickly proceed to the next item. As you're aware, the Honorable Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, is ably represented at this conference by someone of another great importance. Yeah, he's an important person as well because he wears the minister's cap here today. I'm talking about no other than Dr. David Atua, MNI. A round of applause for him as he makes his way to the podium, please. A round of applause for the representative of the Honorable Coordinating Minister of State and Social Welfare.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by conveying the apologies of the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa. The reasons have been enunciated very well by the DG NACA. We would have loved to be here, but had to go and represent Mr. President in Adamawa State. The country director, UNAIDS, Dr. Leo Zenkeng, the DG NACA, Dr. Temitope Ilori, the PEFA coordinator, Ms. Fumi Adesoya. What an erudite presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I think she deserves another round of applause. Thank you very much. The president of Network of People Living with HIV in Nigeria, Mr. Abdulkadir Ibrahim, the national coordinator of Association of Youths Living with HIV in Nigeria, in absentia, Mr. Aaron Sunday, CEOs of implementing organizations, your excellencies, senior government officials, may I take this opportunity to recognize the director NASCAP, Dr. Basharum, and also the special advisor on diaspora affairs to the Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Bayo Adedewe, consultant from the King's Hospital, London. I'm sure he's here. Could you rise for recognition, please? Members of the fourth realm, and I want to especially recognize Mrs. Moji as well. distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also not finish by not recognizing my dear brother, Dr. Tajuddin from CCM. I recognize and appreciate you as well. The Honorable Minister has asked me or directed me, as is the usual thing, for me to present his few words to you today on this very special occasion. I'm happy to be here with you today at the 2024 Nigerian Prevention Conference organized by the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA. The theme of the conference is apt as it focuses on ending HIV/AIDS through innovation and engagement of all stakeholders in our fight to eradicate this disease through prevention. As is popularly said and really enunciated by our last speaker, prevention is better than cure. And your father was on point. This is particularly true of HIV/AIDS, as its prevention today will ultimately lead to its eradication tomorrow. We are particularly lucky to have a president in His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose passion for Nigeria and the health of his citizens is second to none. His vision is that every Nigerian should have access to health services irrespective of HIV status and the need to eliminate debilitating poverty and catastrophic health spending. As you all know, the vision of the Health Sector Renewal Project is to produce health and reduce pain sustainably for all Nigerians. This goal is pivoted upon four main pillars, which are effective governance, efficient, equitable, and quality health systems, unlocking the health value chain, and health security. This vision changes how government will provide health for its citizens across the country. I call on all of you to join hands with us as we make this vision a reality for the benefit of all Nigerians. Like has been said, the theme of this year's prevention conference, Accelerating Prevention to End AIDS Through Innovations and Community Engagement, lays credence to our collective determination as a government to ensure that Nigerians are healthy and wealthy. It is true that prevention is better than cure, but currently we are yet to get a cure for HIV globally. This re-emphasizes the need to accelerate the prevention of new infections, especially among the most vulnerable population and the youths in general. This conference provides a platform for discussing our different prevention strategies with the intent of assessing them for effectiveness, sharing global best prevention practices, and domesticating them to suit our unique sociocultural environment. At the end of this conference, I will be expecting the new DG of NACA, Dr. Temitope Ilorin, to brief me regarding the outputs from this conference and how selective strategies are being implemented in the national HIV response. Also, my attention will be focused on how we get and keep our data right, ensuring that we have a solid foundation for improved ownership and sustainability of the HIV response in Nigeria. I will be very elated when she reports to me how we can facilitate an AIDS-free generation where no child will be born HIV positive in Nigeria. Let me applaud the efforts of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, and all its implementing partners, especially PEPFAR, UNAIDS, and GFATM, for your tireless intervention and support in ensuring that Nigeria achieves the 95-95-95 targets by 2030, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. Also, let me acknowledge the support of persons living with HIV, adolescents and young persons, civil society organizations, and indeed everyone affected by HIV. We can only win this war against this virus when we work together to accelerate HIV prevention amongst everyone and put those infected by HIV on treatment across the country. On this note, let me wish all of you happy deliberations in this important conference. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Put your hands together once more for the representative of the Honorable Coordinator, Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
There's no further sorrow. There are ways to get.
I'll quickly make an announcement. If you're looking for your pouch containing a pair of glasses, I have it here with me, please. A pouch containing a pair of glasses. So we're still going to take our music interlude. The saxophonist is ready for us now, and he will come up here to do what he knows how to do best. The saxophonist, please.
All right, this song is called We Are the World. We Are the World.
And the positive youth be on their feet and put their hands together and sing along, please. You are the world. All the positive youth in the hall, be on your feet and hold your hands together. Hold your hands. Hold your hands. You are the world. Please be on your feet. You are the ones to make a better day. Okay, so I'm going to also invite you guys to the stage. All the positive youths, come to the stage, hold your hands, and sing along. You are the world. Tomorrow belongs to you. Have recognize of you. the stage. Tomorrow belongs to you. We've not closed. We have not closed yet. Please come. Tomorrow promises to be better. Takes concerted efforts, has been on deck. Together we can halt transmission of HIV infections. Wait, it's right here. The faith of over here. Wait. Wait, wait, wait. Thank you. Thank you. Let's now go back to our seats. Thank you. Tomorrow promises to be better. With all hands on deck. Let's please go back to our seats so we can round up nicely. It's time for. Oh, Ravi, unless. Come. Let's go back to our seats. The event is not over. Let's go back to our seats, please. It's time for the photograph session. Time for photograph session. Order of photograph. I have the privilege of inviting the Director General of NACA, followed by the representatives of the Honorable Coordinating Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, representatives of development agencies and international organizations present, Global Fund, PEPFAR, and Co. Order of photograph. I don't know if the light is good. Session will be done on the stage, on the stage, on the stage. Yes, for the dignitaries. The photograph session for the dignitaries will be done on the stage. I would like to invite the Director General of NACA, the representative of the Honorable Coordinating Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, representatives of development agencies and international organizations, PEPFAR, Global Funds, and other dignitaries. Please, UNICEF, WHO, all international organizations and development agencies, UNESCO, do please come to the stage for the group photograph. CCM, national implementing partners, network of people living with HIV and AIDS, Ashwan, KP, NAPWAN, please. Other youth leaders here, representatives, please come to the podium for the group photograph. Passion is for the dignitaries alone. Oh, okay, okay. I will take the other photographs once again. The Director General of NACA, the representative of the Honorable Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, heads of development agencies and international organizations present, FAPFA, UNICEF, WHO, UNESCO. NACA directors and deputy directors should equally join.